You don't have to learn how to control your thoughts. You just have to stop letting them control you. Welcome back, Soul Sisters. Thank you so much for watching. I can hardly believe that I'm about to say this, but we are moving into our last and final week of the Back to Love Challenge 5-week workshop series that I have been hosting for the entire month of March. Yep, week 5 is here, and we're going to be finishing this last week off extremely strong because that is how we do things. So if you are new to hanging out with me, hello, I'm Sarah Pettis, and I am a body positive intuitive eating coach and the founder of turnupthelove.ca, and I help serial dieters to stop the critical self-body talk, obsessive calorie tracking, feeling guilty around food, exercising for punishment, and teach them how to trust food and their bodies again. And today, I'm actually here to talk to you guys about week 5 of the Back to Love Challenge, which is all about getting out of your head and getting into your friggin' heart. And it's also going to be a little bit about challenging those core beliefs that you have as well. So hi everyone who's joining me. Thank you so much for being here. Let me know where you're tuning in from if you're watching either on Facebook or Instagram, or you're catching the replay on the blog. Feel free to shoot me a message in the comments section and let me know where you're watching, because I love to engage with the audience here. So today, like I said, we're talking all about how to get out of the head and get into the heart for week 5 of the Back to Love Challenge. We're also going to be talking about how to keep the foundation of these self-love practices that I've been teaching you all month long, how to keep them solid. And really that all comes down to keeping your mindset intact, okay? I also want to talk about what you can actually do to prevent the negative self-talk from taking over, because gosh knows that mind has a mind of its own. They say that for a reason, and it can totally pull you all around if you let it. So we're going to talk a lot about taming the mind today to keep you centered in the self-love work. Okay, and last but not least, I'm going to give you guys a really awesome 5-step process that I actually use anytime that I kind of get caught up in my own thinking, and it's really helped me to sort of challenge that inner critic within. Because here's the thing, just because you learn how to tame your thoughts, just because you learn how to do limiting belief work that helps you to see what is true and what's not true, that doesn't mean that it's ever going to go away. Because the truth of the matter is our mind, we can't turn it off. It's just something that we've been given. So instead of learning how to stop it, we're instead going to learn how to tame it. Okay? Does that sound good? Sound like something you could use in your life right now? I hope so. And also, if you are watching, do me a favor, if you know anyone at all that has been struggling with self-esteem issues, or they've been comparing their value or their self-worth to others on social media, or if they've constantly been putting themselves down, then this is definitely something that would be a really good share to send out, because I think it could really support them and their journey towards self-love and self-acceptance. If you have some friends that might be struggling right now, do them a favor by sending us out. That type of support means so much to me, and I really couldn't keep this message going without you guys. So I really genuinely appreciate the shares and the love all around. All right, so like I said, today's title, we're getting out of the head and into our hearts, okay? But before we dive in, I just wanted to first off send some gratitude for all the women who have been joining me in this Back to Love Challenge round. This is the 3rd time that we're running the Back to Love Challenge, and it's the first time that we're actually running it in a 5-week setting. Normally, when I host the Back to Love Challenge, it's normally 5 days. But after getting a lot of feedback from a lot of the women who took the Back to Love Challenge in past rounds, I came to realize that they were like, wow, Sarah, like this is a lot of content, but it's so much content that I don't have the time to process it in 5 days. So I heard them loud and clear, and I decided to stretch the content out amongst 5 weeks. So for the last 5 weeks, we have been digging into a lot of things. week 1, we talked all about that in order to love yourself, you first have to accept yourself for who you already are. Week 2, we talked about giving your body the love and the care that she deserves by loving her for all that she already does for you, because she does a hell of a lot. And then in week 3, we made peace with our past so that way we could move forward and open our heart to receive love, because oftentimes if we're holding on to a lot of stuff from the past, we're actually creating a lot of blocks within ourselves that we don't even realize. And then last week, on week 4, we talked about the uniqueness within all of us, and that we actually do not need to be comparing ourselves to others, because we are our own shining stars and we are lighting our own way and our own path. So like I said, we got into a lot over the last 4 weeks, and we are not going to be stopping there because week 5 is coming up this week. But if you did miss any of these workshops and you feel like any of these conversations would be beneficial for you, you can actually head on over to turnupthelove.ca. That's my website, and you can go back and rewatch any of the episodes or the workshops there. And if you want to get involved in the Back to Love Challenge in future rounds, and you weren't able to join this round, if you actually hit the link in my bio, the Back to Love Challenge link, you'll be taken to a waiting list page, and you can sign up there, and you'll be the first to know when the Back to Love Challenge reopens again. It likely will be sometime in the summer. So feel free to sign up for that, so that way you can be the first to know when this is going to be all coming out again, so you can get in on all the self-lovey vibes, because there's workbooks to go along with this, live Q&As with me, coaching with me, a sisterhood, a group that you can join. So it's a packed full month of content, and I want you to be able to take advantage if you weren't able to this round. So check out the content on turnupthelove.ca, and then get yourself signed up for the waiting list if that sounds like something you could benefit from. Okay? So something else I wanted to chat with you guys about also, if you want to take your self-love journey to the next level and you're ready to up-level all things self-love, all things reconnecting with food, all things coming home to your body, learning how to exercise in a way that is organic to you, connecting with your true self, and you really want to expand in this area, in this realm of all these things that I teach, I'm going to be holding a 90-day group sisterhood experience. And it's going to be a coaching experience where you can connect with other women who are going through the same struggles that you are, while also working with me. And basically, we completely reconstruct your relationship with food and your body, okay? And I've included the link at the top of this live as well, and you can also catch it on Instagram in my bio, should you want to apply for that experience. It is an application process, and I'm only going to be accepting 5 women. The doors aren't even open yet, but if you already know that that's something that sounds like something that would benefit you, then definitely get your application in, and I'll be sure to review it and let you know if you would be a really good fit, because I only want to bring in the women who are ready to do the work, who are ready to ditch diets, leave that diet mentality behind in the past, and are ready to bring themselves to a whole new level of self-love and care and body connection more than anything else, okay? We're not looking for any quick fixes here, all right? So hopefully that information serves you well. Hopefully it gives you a ton of resources to get started or takes you to the next journey. But without further ado, enough of the chit chat. Let's get into today's workshop, shall we? So before we get started, I want to ask you guys a question. And I usually start every single live workshop this way. So hit me up in the comments with the answers to this question. How often do you feel like you guys are making good momentum, whether that be with self-love or intuitive eating or body positivity, and then all of a sudden you find yourself getting caught up in old patterns? Like your progress just comes to a screeching halt, right? And so you start repeating things that you know are not beneficial for your journey, but you do them anyways. Does anyone struggle with that at all? Because I know I sure as hell did. So when I was first entering this realm of self-love. I would often find that I would be making really good progress, but then something would happen and it would just completely throw me off balance. And I'd quickly go back to beating myself up and tearing myself apart. Like as soon as I would put on a pair of my skinny jeans, and if they were a little bit tight that week and then they wouldn't do up properly, instantly start being hard on myself. Oh, you're gaining weight, you need to go back to the gym, you're not eating properly, you need to be eating less, you need to be tracking your calories and your macros again, you need to start doing weight training again. It was just beat. Or if I would be washing my face and I'd catch a pimple forming, it would be like, oh my God, like what are you doing? You're eating too much sugar, you're doing too much of this, like your hormones are out of balance again. Maybe you're dealing with adrenal fatigue, like it was all the things that I was doing wrong, right? Or I'd feel guilty about all the self-care things that I was prioritizing, like going to get my nails done and getting a facial and taking the afternoon off to have a bath rather than working, right? So all of these thoughts would just come tumbling back in, right? Has anyone experienced anything like this before? Are you feeling me on the negative thoughts that come tumbling in? And if so, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being African feel you girl, I know exactly what you're talking about, and 1 being no, not at all, I'm good, I'm gravy, I don't experience anything like that. Let me know if you have been there. Let me know if you have been there. Scale of 1 to 10. Because I have a pretty good feeling that you have been there. Because if you're anything like me, the thoughts get loud and they get proud and they think that they are running the show, right? They think that they are running the show. And that is so extremely common, especially for women who have struggled to have a healthy relationship with food and their bodies. Those thoughts, they tend to own you at times, right? So this is exactly why, this is the very reason why I wanted to talk about this in week 5 of getting out of your head and getting into your heart. Because with all these self-love practices that I've taught you guys over the last 4 weeks, now going into week 5, of all these self-love practices I've taught you, in order to keep them strong and solid, we have to be able to keep our mindset intact. Otherwise, they are just going to go by the wayside, and we're going to go back to doing what we've always done, the things that feel comfortable to us, okay? We're going to go back to doing the things that aren't serving us, okay? So how do we even begin to do that? How do we even begin to tame this mind that can completely just pull you off track or completely just throw you off guard? How do we even begin to do that? Well, we have to start by not letting our external circumstances, so things that are outside of ourselves, external circumstances such as the number on the scale or the size of our clothing or how many friends we have or how many social media followers are following us on Instagram and Facebook and Pinterest and Twitter and all the social media channels, or how much money we have in our bank account. We have to stop letting those external circumstances or factors, we have to stop letting them control our self-worth. We have to stop letting them control our self-worth. And thank you for all the love, you guys, for sending the love. And I mean, sure, okay, I get it. These things can definitely contribute to making you feel good. I mean, who doesn't like to see a hefty amount of money in their bank account? And who doesn't like to see that they have tons of friends surrounding them and lots of followers on social media and that they're appreciated? Who doesn't like to feel those things, right? So I get that it can contribute to helping you help you to feel good. But the thing is those feelings that you experience when you witness those things, when you see those things happening, they are only temporary, right? They are only temporary. And this is why it's so incredibly important to really pay attention to what's going on in the heart center. okay? This is why it's so important that we come back to the heart, okay? Because in order to receive the highest, most profound, joyous form of self-love, we first need to pay attention to what we think about ourselves and how we speak to ourselves, okay? We have to pay attention to how we think and how we speak about ourselves, okay? Because when the chatter in our brains are either neutral, they're just like, meh, they're good, they're just whatever, they're neutral, or they're positive, this isn't when the problems are happening, right? This isn't necessarily a problem. But when our thoughts are negative and they are destructive and they are critical, that is when they have the ability to completely break us down and force us to return to self-hatred. You guys hear what I'm saying? You guys hear what I'm saying? So who here has experienced this disempowering thought, this thought behavior, these types of disempowering thoughts? Who here has experienced that? And what are some of the negative, destructive, or self-critical things that you've thought or said about yourself? What are some of the things that are coming up for you or have come up for you in the past? I see some yeses, so let me know what you've experienced, okay? I would love to know what kind of stuff's coming up for you. So we know it's important to tackle our thoughts, right? Based on what I just said, we can see like, okay, got to stop looking at these external factors. We have to start paying attention to what thoughts we're having, because in order to keep these self-love practices strong, it's the only way that we'll be able to keep the momentum going, right? It's the only way we'll be able to keep the momentum going. So how do we actually go about preventing this negative self-talk from actually taking over? Because the truth of the matter is, like, how many thoughts do you think we have a day? Thousands. Every minute we could have like 200 thoughts. Like, it's insane how much our mind races. That they call it the monkey mind for a reason. This is why meditation is becoming so incredibly big right now, and mindfulness is becoming so big right now, right? Because the mind is a powerful, powerful thing, and we got to learn how to harness it. So how do we prevent the negative self-talk from taking over? Any guesses? Well, it's in the title of today's workshop. Get out of the head and get into the heart. Yes, love. Choosing love. Love, love, love. Hand heart, love, love, love. Choosing love every single time. There's a reason why I called my business Turn Up the Love, because it always comes back to love. There's only two things. There's fear and there's love. There's fear and there's love, and that is it. And we have to consciously turn up our inner love dials and choose love more often, right? Now, obviously, this is way easier said than done, because I think most people would love to choose love, but I mean, they get caught up in their own stuff, right? But if you show up for yourself and you're willing, and this is the biggest thing, if you're willing, you have to be willing. Not all people are willing to do the work, and that's totally fair. I respect that. I wasn't ready when I first got started either, but they have to be willing. And if you are willing and you show up for yourself and you're willing to challenge your thoughts, guess what? Less power these negative thoughts are going to have over you. But you got to be willing, okay? You have to be willing to go there and explore, okay? And here's why they have less power over you. Here's why. Because the thing is we grow so accustomed to hearing these thoughts in our mind, right? We get so used to hearing our own chit-chatter, right? And we don't even think to challenge every thought that comes through. And even though like 99.9% of the time, they're just not true. They are not always true. Just because you think it does not mean that it is 100% true. It's just a thought. It's literally the little cartoon bubble that we are having, and guess what? We have the ability to just go boop and pop the crap out of it and tell it to get lost, should we choose to. That's where the power comes in, okay? That's where the power comes in. So really, once we create this story about ourselves, and the thing is when our minds are running rampant and we create this story, we tend to repeat that story over and over and over and over and over and over. And that is why the mind begins to say, oh, this must be true. I keep having this thought. I keep having this story. This story keeps repeating. It must be true. It must be true, right? So once we create that story about ourselves, that story then becomes our reality because of the habit that we have to repeat the same thought over and over, okay? So some examples here of some thoughts that you might have that might be kind of disempowering you could be things like, oh, I look huge in that dress, or no one will ever love me at this size. I had that one a lot. I will always be broken. I'll never be healed from my disordered eating. Also had that one a lot. I have horrible skin. I can't go out in public without wearing foundation. Also had. I like to use my own examples a lot. I can't wear a bikini at the beach. Everyone will stare and make me feel uncomfortable. I'm not worthy of understanding. I don't want to bother anyone with my problems. A lot of yucky thoughts, right? And I think those examples will help you guys to get clear on what I'm talking about here, about these disempowering thoughts, right? I know you guys have experienced these yourselves, because I mean, who hasn't, right? If you're a human being, you've dealt with these kind of thoughts, right? We all go through it. No one is like superhuman and just avoids these thoughts altogether, right? It happens. But like I said at the very beginning here, it's not about wiping away these thoughts. It's about managing them and taking back your power. You take back your power and you say, oh, hell no. And the more that you do that, the easier this process gets, okay? It gets a lot easier. Because the thing is, out of all these thoughts I just shared, how truthful are these actual stories we tell ourselves anyways? How truthful? And the more you ask that question, the easier this will get to harness those thoughts. So just jumping in the comments real quick, we had a comment that just come in and said, thanks for the tips. I was feeling blue before I heard you. Oh, I'm so glad that this is divine timing and you're catching this at the right time, and that it's helping to pull you out of a funk. We all go through it all the time, and that's just the waves of life, right? Just the waves of life. It's just us on this crazy ride, and it's all about pulling ourselves back to that heart center and managing. That's the key, like they just said in the comments. Yes, managing the thoughts, right? So today I'm actually going to teach you how to pay attention to the thoughts that you're having, okay, to the thoughts that you're having, so that way you can start to challenge that inner critic. Okay, I want you guys to have these tools to be able to challenge the inner critic, because it's not going to go away. So you got to know how to manage it. And I promise you, if you learn how to manage this in an effective way, it does get easier and easier and easier the more that you do it. But you have to be willing to show up to the damn work. And I say that a lot, but it's the complete, utter truth. You can't just expect things to change if you're not willing to freaking go there. Okay? You have to be willing to go there. And I know that if you're watching this, you are someone that is willing to go there, because you know I don't mess around with this limiting beliefs work. I know you know that by now if you've been hanging with me for a little while. Okay, so if you're following me, if you hear what I'm saying and you're with me here on today's topic, hit me up in the comments with a heart or a hell yes, and let me know if you're ready to start challenging that inner critic. I need you to be willing. I need you to commit. I need you to say, hell yeah, shoot me some love, and tell me if you're ready to challenge that inner critic, because it is time, my friends. It is time. We got some hell yeses in the house. Amazing. Amazing. Okay, good. Thank you guys. Thank you. Hell yeah! Exclamation mark. Instagram, thank you. Normally I get more engagement on Facebook, but it's Instagram today, so thanks for being here. So, I'm going to break it down. I have a super simple, stupid simple, 5-step process that you guys can use if you are gonna challenge that inner critic, okay? And you gotta know this if you're gonna challenge that inner critic. It's a must, okay? It's a stupid, simple 5-step process. Totally ready. Okay, let's shift this day around for you, my friend. All right, 5-step process. Number 1, and this is something that we do not do enough. We do not do this enough. Number 1, you have to get into your body. You got to get into your body and get out of your head, okay? And how do you do that? Well, you've got to get into a quiet, calm space where you can reflect and have a look at what the heck's going on. And you're not going to be able to do that if you're not in your body and you're just in your head. So, if you are at work, go to the washroom. Take a breather. If you are at home and there's kids home or your husband, the house is loud, go to the washroom. It's a sacred space. Lock the door. Thank God for doors. Go in a closet. Go somewhere, anywhere, outside. Take a 5-minute walk. Go anywhere where you can physically get into your body. But usually to do that and to get out of your head, you gotta get quiet. You gotta put your phone away, shut off your laptop, shut off your electronics, and get into a calm, quiet space where you can reflect on what the heck is going on, okay? Step 1. Step number 2 is to pay attention to your breath, okay? Breathing is so underrated, okay? Breathing is a powerful, powerful, powerful tool, and it's important that we use it. That will help you to get back into your body, okay? So really pay attention to your breath and follow it as it goes in and out. So deep breath in and follow out. And do a couple of those. If you do that about 5 to 10 times in a quiet, calm space, I promise you, just by taking those 5 to 10 deep breaths where you're paying attention and watching it go in and out, that alone will just shift your energy. It will just shift your energy and pull you back into your body like I was suggesting, okay? So deep breaths, in and out, 5 to 10 times, okay? And then step 3, just take notice of how your body is feeling, okay? Just start to ask some questions. How am I feeling right now? What is my body feeling right now? Is there pain? Is there tension? Is there tingliness? Is there tightness? Am I hungry? Am I tired? Am I cranky? Pay attention to the cues that your body is giving you. Ask these questions and just pay attention to this, but do not judge this process. It's very, 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 very important. Do not judge this process. So yeah, it does feel really nice to do that. It feels really good to just get back into the body, right? And that will connect you to that heart space. So you're saying you're tired. Okay, so just reading the comments here, someone's saying they're tired. Okay, so pay attention to that, but don't judge it. Don't judge it, just, okay, I'm tired. Noted. Noted, I'm a little bit tired today. Anything else that's coming up, just let it come through you. No judgment, no guilt. Don't allow the mind to keep going on that story. Just pay attention. Tired. Okay, got it. Okay? Step 4. Then ask yourself, once you've kind of paid attention to how you're feeling and where you're at, ask yourself, what thoughts do I believe to be true right now about myself? What thoughts do I believe to be true? What thoughts do I believe to be true? What thoughts do I believe to be true? Ask yourself that a couple of times. Call them forward. Say, okay, thoughts, come up. What am I feeling right now? Bring them on up. I'm ready. I'm ready to hear what you've got to say. Okay, call them forward, okay? Similar to how you called your inner skinny bee forward from last week. And if you don't know what the heck I'm talking about, you can go and rewatch last week's episode, week number 4, The Curse of Comparisonitis. You can check that out on turnoflove.ca to watch the replay. But call those thoughts forward, okay? Same way that you would do with the inner skinny bee. And then once the answers come to you and once you've been able to identify what thoughts you've been thinking, so say, for example, you're thinking, I'm not good enough. I'm exhausted. I'm not good enough. I don't have what it takes to succeed in the world. Or I'm exhausted. My body's failing me. I don't know what to do anymore. I feel awful and I don't know what to do and I feel like my body's turned her back on me and she's failing me. Pay attention to what you're thinking, pull them out, and then when those answers come to you, mindfully consider and question those thoughts. So instead of reacting to it right away and getting caught up with judgment and guilt and self-criticism, I want you to question it instead. Okay? I want you to question it and just ask yourself, is this thought 100% without a doubt 1,000% true? Is it true? If you were to ask 100 people, would they all say yes, 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 yes? Or is there a slight, teensy weensy chance that it could potentially not be so true? Because even if there's one person in that group of 100 people that you were asked that question to about yourself that says no, guess what? Guess what? There's a chance that what you're thinking is not true, and it's a story that you've told yourself over and over and over again. Okay? There's a chance. And if there's a chance, then guess what? There's also a chance that that thought that you've been having is distorted. And it's a story. Okay? So, as you become aware of these distorted thoughts that you're having, I want you to, in a compassionate, non-judgmental way, decide what you're going to do with that thought. Okay? You need to decide in that moment. Before you let it take over, you question, say, okay, is this true? There's a slight chance it's not true. If it's like a 98% chance that it's true, but a 2% that it's not, I want you to decide what you're going to do with that thought. Are you going to continue to let it have control over you, or are you going to challenge it instead? But you have to be the one that's willing to do this 5-step process. You have to be the one that's willing to be honest with yourself about whether it's true or not. Be honest, because I know that you're probably going to be, oh, yeah, of course it's true. But is it? Like I said, if you ask 100 people, 100%, 100 people, if it was true, would every single person say yes? Maybe not. Okay? So you have to ask yourself, am I willing to continue to have these thoughts and continue to have these thoughts that are going to control me, or am I willing to challenge them instead? Right? I got you. And I got you because it's the honest to gosh truth. You guys, thoughts are not real. They are just thoughts. There's a reason why in cartoons people used to draw the big thought bubbles, the big clouds, because the truth of the matter is they're just thoughts, and we can pop them at any given moment should we choose to. Okay? So you have to take back that power. You have to be the one to say, I'm going to challenge it, or I'm going to allow it to continue to control me. Okay? So you have to be that one. All right? So I'm glad that you guys are seeing that this is beneficial. I'm glad that this is helping you. So I just want to kind of recap everything that we chatted about today. Okay? So here's what we talked about. First and foremost, how to keep the foundation of these self-love practices solid. And how to do that is by keeping our mindset intact. okay? We have to be able to keep our mindset intact. And this all starts when you stop letting your external circumstances create your self-worth, okay? That's where I talked about the scale and the size of your clothes. Those are external circumstances. You have to stop letting them create your self-worth, all right? And in order to receive the highest form of self-love, we need to pay attention to what we are thinking about ourselves and how we are speaking to ourselves, okay? So we also chatted about what to do to prevent the negative self-talk from taking over, and that all comes back to L-O-V-E. It all comes back to love, you guys, okay? Every single time, okay? Like I said, obviously this is way easier said than done, but if you show up for yourself and you're willing to do the damn work and you're willing to challenge those thoughts, the less power these negative thoughts are going to have over you, okay? And then, of course, we just covered the 5-step process that I find really simple and really easy to help you to get out of your head and into your heart and get you into a space in your body where you're able to challenge these thoughts, okay? And the key here is that you've got to come from a place of compassion, and you have to be aware of these distorted thoughts and question if they are true or not, okay? In a really non-judgmental way, all right? And then you have to ask, is this thought going to have control over me, or am I going to challenge it instead? Remember, would 100 people say yes? If there's a slight chance it wouldn't, there's a slight chance that you can pop that thought bubble because it's just a distortion. All right? So what do you guys say? I know I've just dumped a ton of information on you. But what do you guys say? Are you ready to get out of your head and get back into your heart? Show me some hearts if you're ready to make this powerful shift. We love the hearts. Show me the hearts if you're ready to make this powerful shift, because I can give you all of this information and I can hold space for you and I can give you the tips of how to do it, but I can only do so much. At the end of the day, you have to be the one to make that shift. So I got a lot of hearts. I got some I'm readies. I love it. I love the vibes. Thank you, thank you, thank you, guys. Amazing, amazing. So that actually brings me to today's challenge activity. So I'm going to be heading over to the VIP Back to Love Challenge Facebook group, and I'm going to be reviewing a template that I use to overcome disempowering thoughts with the girls inside of the group. Like I said, if you are loving this type of information and you missed the Back to Love Challenge this round, unfortunately this is the last and final week and things are going to be wrapping up after this weekend, but if you want to hear all about this challenge and you want to get in on the next round, then you can join the waitlist and you'll be the first to know when it reopens again. Like I said, I'm thinking I'm going to be reopening it probably at the end of summer. So get yourself on that waitlist now while it's at top of mind. Get yourself signed up, and then I promise to shoot you out an email when I will be launching the Back to Love Challenge again. But that's all for me today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching another episode of Turn to Love Live. Thank you so much for joining me for this 5-week Back to Love Challenge workshop series. I appreciate you guys so much. I've had so much fun holding space for you guys and being a part of this challenge with you, and I can't wait to see what you guys do in the weeks ahead with your self-love journey. All right, that's all from me. Bye for now, guys, and I will chat with you guys really soon.